Recently I have made like a little self-discovery about with music. Some of the artists that I've been looking into are just more so of like industry plants, you know. I'm okay with like discovering said artists and everything, but I feel like right now with today's landscape of how music is like evolving and everything, I feel like it's kind of hard to gravitate nor new genres. At least for me, I'm going a little bit more on the R&B side, like discovering more R&B people. I am listening to some bits of heavy metal music too, but it's kind of hard for me to like gravitate towards like new people or new set artists when their music is kind of like not it really. I'm not saying like the genre in general. Like I can listen to any type of genre of music. I'm an open listener to any kind of music. I don't like discourage anything besides country music. But anyways, with that, it's like I feel like I made this like discovery last night. I was like, it's kind of hard to keep the same expectations going into a new decade of being consistent with your music or evolving or changing or making some genre switches. There was the I saw a post on Instagram the other day. It was talking about Post Malone that was culture vulturing or some shit like that, just trying some country music, and I'm like thinking Post Malone wouldn't really do that. And Post Malone, I feel like out of everybody, I feel like he can do a good switch to do country music, and I don't really listen to country music like that. So, but people can say about what you call Austin being a country music. It didn't really feel like that to me. But if it was country music, and I dig it. Like I like how artists like said artists are taking new creative steps to evolve their music, or maybe bend or switch up a little bit. You know, sometimes it could be a good thing or a bad thing because listeners like myself can indulge themselves more into said genre of what the artist that we already love and establish is taking, a turn to. Because there was another instance where Beyonce did a whole complete switch of like making country music, and I guess people didn't like that, or people were just like, oh, people are getting on to Post Malone, but Beyonce did the same thing, no one bats an eye. It's kind of weird for that. And there's something that should be at least like new or anything like I don't know, like I don't know if it's just like a me thing. I feel like I feel like now we're having like a higher expectations of how artists are creating their music. Right now I'm an R&B um hip hop rap person. I'm gonna be completely biased here because I'm only referring to one set genre. With I'm making new discoveries with like set artists right now. Right now, I just finished to listening to Desmond Curry. I'm gonna be making a video following up with his album and then talking about his music. I enjoy that. I'm also I think I finished listening to oh, I forgot who I was listening to because there's just like new music to come, and it just feels like right now today I'm gonna be uploading this. There's some new Tory Lanez music that's been resurfaced that he's putting on his main that says Lost Tapes, and it's just like it still hits, but it doesn't hit like how it is now. Like music that's more passable in like the early 2000s 2010s, it could pass. I feel like when I do listen to older music from said artists that I'm listening to, the music that they make back then is great, is good during that period of time. But like to make it better or what it was, or even live up to that same potential now, it's kind of like a hard thing to do. And there's also another problem with artists is like making. I don't really care about how lengthy their projects are. I just want a good amount, like a good quality set and a good quantity amount. Like, I rather have quality over quantity. I would like to have a good amount, I feel like at least like like an album that has maybe 30 to 45 minutes of the project, because I feel like there's a lot of content to digest. There's a lot of content to to enjoy and to like point out some things. If you're like one of the music theorists like me, I like to delve into lyrics. I like to understand things. I like to you know Also have a good time listening to the music because sometimes it's catchy shit, you know. But I feel like it's not like that right now. And there's also another an instance where I did listen to Tizo Touchdown. I finally got around to listening to his music because he's been through a lot of features. So when I listen to his album, I'm like, okay, I kind of like the hip hop rock R&B level that he put on his album of like how do you sleep at night. And I of course I listened to the deluxe version because there's no point in watching or listening to the original. And it's a pretty good lengthy album in my opinion. He does have some good moments right there, and especially when he pops off with his vocals, impressive work that he puts into it. And the whole beat switching and alternatives are just, they're good. I feel like it's really good for a person like him, but if someone else tries to do that, or it has to be good, not like the best. It needs to be like the greatest thing ever if they're just switching genres or whatever. And I also, again, I re-listened to another thing here when I finished with the whole beef with Kendrick and Drake. I kind of second guess of how I'm looking at Drake's music a little bit. Like I only have about maybe 196 songs I like by Drake. He does make some catchy music, and he does make some, really soft melodic music, which I do like. But what I love, like his my favorites out of those 196 are just like dimmed down to like maybe less than 100. I'm just like, and it kind of shows like to for me at least, it just needs to have like that same impact besides being a catchy music that I would just bump into every once in a while, And then with Kendrick Lamar is a whole different person. Right, I'm not even gonna, suck his dick for like maybe 20 to 35 minutes about how much I love his music. But overall, with that, there's also Don Tolliver. I'm gonna be also releasing that today too. Man, I'm like really behind my elbow schedule. Ah. Anyways, I did listen to Don Tolliver's all of his albums to give a quick rundown. I do like his Heaven and Hell album, and I do love his new project that he recently released with Hearthstone Psycho. I by far the best, and they just like kind of win me over. And the same thing with, it's like to evolve your music to make it better than how it is beforehand. It's great, but I feel like some artists are having hard times to keep a good quality project and make good quality music, because I feel like the standards of making good quality music is like really high now, like way higher than it was before. I don't know if it's just like a me feeling, because some songs are just popping out a whole lot more. Like Roddy Rich, I only listen to his please excuse me for my anti-social behavior, some shit like that. And I listened to his next album after that. I didn't listen to the Feed Thy Streets one, but I can really tell like the quality of his music just went down just a little bit. But when he released some Survivors Morse Redemption, whatever the fuck, that was good. I love 911 that he recently put out. It's a really good, catchy song, headbanger. And I do see him like getting a comeback in his music. And it's just like, it's like, when you mess up so bad, it has to take like a lot. It needs to be like a lot of effort. And especially, I'm kind of getting into him, but not really. I know a lot of people are talking about Chance the Rapper right now. He does have some okay songs. I haven't listened to any of his projects yet, but his Stars Out song, I like it. I just like it. I don't, with his music is kind of like weird of like it is hip hop. I haven't fully listened to the Coloring Book or Astro Trip yet. I heard those are really good projects that he's made, so I'll probably talk about that soon in like a future video. But artists that do that to themselves are just, I don't know. It takes a lot to make a good recovery. And Lil Yachty too. I haven't fully listened to any of his projects, but I heard like his Now We Start Here. I only like one song by that, and that's the Semi Black Hole one. I'm not saying I'm disregarding him as like, oh, he can't rap for shit. He can. He can. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes to make a switch can be good or bad for an artist, and to make that switch can be beneficial. And especially when you're trying to so capitalize on that, it has to at least evolve at some point, and stop making the same shit over and over and over again, because it can kind of get repetitive to some degree. But yeah, that's and another thing too. Gotta make a video about this. The Death of Slim Shady. So I have it right in front of me on my Spotify. I just got done listening to it. I'm having like a second or third run so I can like fully digest it. Another thing too with that is how Eminem is being portrayed, and I have listened to the Slim Shady LP and the Eminem show. I listened to some songs. I haven't fully listened to those albums of its entirety and to fully digest it, but the way that he puts everything out, it just like reminds me of how his earlier songs that I do like and listen to are just like that back in the early 2000s and 2010s, or yeah 2010s. Yeah, I was about to say, I don't, am I getting my years right? But yeah, but it's like he's like going back to his older music, and it's good. It still hits the same if he ever released this back then. And another thing about that is with his music, people say he got way shittier making his music. I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't fully listened to any of his projects at all of its entirety, but to make this out, to make a review about it, it's like I'll be kind of careful of how I'm going to digest it, or not digest, to explain it to you guys how I feel about this album, because I do like it, but I'll go more in depth in a later video about that. Overall, he is so good how he was back then. Going back to your old sound can be also a good thing too, but it's like there's only so much room and growth and so much that you can just do to not to keep going until it just runs out, runs out. There's nothing wrong to try things new, but the expectations to make music to even captivate or even grab an audience or start building yourself up instead of being an industry plant, is not gonna like slide, at least with me, because when I know they're making good music, it's like you can kind of hear each songs and each projects are different. And especially another thing too, there's another thing with fucking J. Cole. I do love My Delete Later. I feel like with his KOD wasn't really, it was good, but it wasn't really it for me. The off season is one of his best in my opinion, and I do love his 4 Eyes Only. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's not bad. It's not. It's mid." On my bro, like back to back to me, two full studio albums, no features at all. Is kind of impressive. Another thing with Lil Uzi Vert, a lot of people don't like his Pink Tape album. I'm like, bro, like I don't think he flopped from that. I also am waiting for Lil Uzi Vert versus Rage 3 or whatever. I like those previous albums that he made, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. I felt like Pink Tape, in my opinion, was his best album that he has ever released, and I will stand on that, because he still kept like his same original style and flow, but added some new elements in there with guitar, hardcore elements, or not hardcore, like heavy metal. I don't know, like it's like I forgot like the genre or how you call it. It's like a garage band with like drums and guitars and everything. I feel like he did the best putting that into his work. That's just my opinion on that. But it doesn't sit with everybody, and that's fine. The expectations are just way higher now, and I don't think we should just rely on industry plans and all that stuff. And from the previous artists that my people like myself are listening to, I feel like now there are some albums that are better than others, that should continuing to show more growth and more ways to innovate their music, like with like how I'm talking about right now with Denzel Curry. I listen to his previous albums, but my favorite one is just his recent one, The Melt My Eyes into Your Future. It's just a complete switch, like a complete switch, and it's beneficial. But there's nothing wrong to going back to your old style of how you rhyme, rap, flow, deliver your melodies, your interludes, and beat making skills and all that. There's nothing wrong, but sometimes it can be just better than others, but fan bases and audience are just way different than me. People just have different expectations for artists, but I feel like we can all agree as people who do listen to music, like some artists, whoever you listen to could be different from mine. I feel like we can all agree that music is not how it is back in the early 2000s and 2010s, and I feel like there is again a different expectations of what we should expect from said artists, because I would hate it to have a shittier album with shit music, you know, doesn't really make me want to go back to listen to more. That's just it for me. That's just my little music rant and all that. And if you guys want me to do, I was thinking about doing like a hot takes video on music with my opinions with like rap, hip hop, all that stuff. If you guys do want me to do something like that, please let me know in the comment sections. If not, that's okay with me. But anyways, guys, my name is Sonigos239, and I hope y'all have a wonderful morning, night, day, evening, whatever the occasion is. Take care, stay safe, and all that good jazz. But yeah, guys, later.